Hi, I'm going a little bit early. I'm going live. I've been letting everyone know I'm going live at 3 p.m. But I figured I would come on now and make sure that everything's working. And so if you are seeing this, you can say hello and let your friends know. Because I'm really excited to talk to you today. You know, as you know, I do a lot of videos. I'm starting to do more and more. I don't do a lot of Facebook or Instagram lives, so to speak, but I'm going to start to, because one of the things that's coming out of this whole coronavirus thing is letting go of perfection. And I'm definitely doing that. Hi, everyone. Oh, hi, Victoria and Jamie. Lego Pool. That's a cool name. Thank you guys for joining. Hi, Analita. So we have a few minutes. Just make yourselves comfortable and think about what questions you want to ask. You can post them now and all throughout the time that I'm talking. But the topic that I want to address today is, how to move through this crazy freaking time with grace and experience the gifts that come from it. So I've been sitting here meditating. Where's my little crystal? I have my little crystal with me. Oh, here it is. See? This is my crystal grid crystal, connected to lots of other beautiful souls who are also part of the Lightworker crystal grid. You can be as well. This was a crystal that was gifted to me, but it's very powerful. And I've been meditating and thinking about the kinds of things that I really want to talk to you about and share with you about ways that you can make the most of this time. So we'll give everyone one more minute. Let me know, like I said, if you have any questions, struggling with love, relationships, anxiety, fears, insecurities, or maybe you too are starting to see some of the unexpected gifts that are coming out of this. I certainly am, although that tends to be my nature anyway, is to find the gifts and all the crappy stuff, because believe me, there's always going to be a lot of crappy stuff, like that booger that just came out of my nose. See, we're letting go of imperfection, and I'm getting over a cold. All right, so anyway, hi. Now we're going to start because it's 3 o'clock. I'm Dr. Laura Berman, and I'm really excited to be with you because I wanted to talk about, obviously, you can't be anywhere in the world unless you're in Timbuktu or some indigenous society somewhere disconnected from the world and not know that we're in an unprecedented time right now. And crazy stuff is going on, and there is so much fear. And as someone who has struggled with fear and anxiety her whole life and considers herself a recovering type A, I know I'm not alone in the type A tendencies, which means that I like to control everything, and many of us do. And one of the things that this time is teaching us, this crazy crisis that our whole world is going through, is that there's only so much we can control. And I think that is one of the trickiest parts of this. So if you have questions I want you to ask, if something comes up that you're questioning me about or want to know more about, I'm going to tell you, I made a list here. See, look at I've been painting, I've been doing all kinds of things. But I made a list here of some of the advantages, I think, that are coming out of this, because most of us are either following a stay-at-home order or in quarantine, depending on where we are in the country or in the world. We are certainly experiencing the stay-at-home order in LA right now. I haven't been, other than outside my house here, I haven't left the house for 2 weeks, which is like crazy to me. But it's also, I talk a lot on my radio show and to you about what I call AFGEs. Have you ever heard me say that word before, or term? It means another, I'm just going to say it because I can, another fucking growth experience. When I talk about it on the radio show, I say freaking, but, the real term is another fucking growth experience. And what that means is those shitty things that happen to us, whether it's a crisis or an illness or a breakup or a tragedy, those horrible things that we think we're not even sure how we're going to live through. And I've had a lot of them in my life, as many people have. The reason I call them AFGEs, and there is an annoyance about them, because like enough already, is because they are growth opportunities. It's like what happens in our lives, and I think that's a big part of what's happening with coronavirus, is that the universe kind of gives a little scratch at the door. You know, maybe it's about your marriage. Maybe it's about your work. You're working, you know, in some secure job that you really don't like, and you wish you could be doing something totally different, but you're too scared to leave. And the universe will kind of scratch at your door a little bit and be like, hello, maybe you should think about leaving, and like give you a few little people in your life or experiences that hint at what's possible. And then when you don't listen to that, then they'll start pounding. Maybe your boss will get really nasty, or you'll be given some assignment that is just so lame and really hitting home. God, I gotta get out of this job, but I'm not sure. You know, I'm too scared. I'm too scared about money. I like my lifestyle the way it is. I don't want to take those risks, right? And then the next thing you know, that universe is like pounding down your door. You lose your job, or everything blows up, or, you know, something happens. And so I feel like COVID is a macro version of an AFGE for all of us. We were going so freaking fast. We weren't stopping. We weren't making time for ourselves. We weren't taking care of the earth. We weren't taking care of our bodies. We weren't taking care of our relationships. We weren't taking care of our economy. And there is no freaking thing that I couldn't have imagined something like this. I know none of us have. But when I thought about what is it gonna take, like, or what's this big thing that all the spiritualists are talking about happening in January 2020, you know, what is it going to be that's going to like throw us inside out and upside down as an entire world? I thought war, I thought something with technology, some big crisis around technology. No, it was this virus, and it has literally made the entire world stop. Like, we literally have to stop. And when does that happen in anyone's life? So I was making a list. What are some of the gifts of this AFGE, another freaking growth experience, a big whopper of one? Okay, well, the first one that I already alluded to is that every single person in the world is having the same AFGE. How crazy is that? That every single person, I can't think of anything else in my lifetime, you know, even 9/11 and some of the big things that have happened didn't affect the whole world in the same way. And this is a unifying factor. And I think that's so cool, because it's creating a thread among our humanity, the likes of which I've never seen in my lifetime or remember in my history lessons. And so that's the first thing, our common humanity. The second is that we're having to let go of imperfections. I mean, look at me. I'm in my little caftan. I put on a little makeup, but I'm just snotty, got over a cold. I'm not really worried about how I look. I'm putting out lawn chairs where I would have never wanted them to be, in the middle of the grass. You know, I've rearranged the furniture not to be aesthetically pleasing, but to be functional while we're all home. Like, there's a relief in just being home and letting go of imperfections. I think another gift that is really cool is that we get to do, if we want to, some creative projects. Now, I'm not just talking about the honey-do list, although that is an added advantage as well, the honey-do list, because now you and your honey are stuck at home. So it's not like he or she can run away when you want them to clean out the garage or whatever else. They can't go play with their friends, or, oops, sorry, got to go to work, right? They're home, stuck with you. But what I mean is not just, you know, improvement projects, although I know that can be exciting and helpful, and I'm not saying not to do those, but something really creative that you want to do and that maybe you've always been kind of scared to do. I think this is an amazing opportunity for that. Like for me, hi guys, I see you all joining. Hi E. Taylor, thanks for saying hi, and thanks for waving, you guys. And if you have any questions or anything you want me to talk about that I'm mentioning now or get more into, I will. But, you know, I've started painting. I mean, I started painting about a year ago, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But now I'm taking some online painting classes. And my friend Emma Gray from the Energetic Residency, maybe I'll tape it and show it to you guys. We're going to do a virtual lesson because she's an artist, and she's going to show me how to shade, because I have a hard time with light and shade. So she's going to be teaching me that. So some creative project that maybe you've never had time for. You keep saying, one day I'll learn how to knit or crochet or do woodwork or paint. Try it. And now, I know that so many of us, and I don't mean to minimize or be insensitive to all the families and all the individuals that are losing people, that are scared for their health, that have major risk factors, that are facing all the financial hardships that are coming out of this crisis. I don't mean to minimize that at all, but I think there's enough of that, and I don't really want to focus on that in this conversation as much. I want to talk about the fear around those things for sure, but what I'm more interested in is what lemonade we can make from this, right? And getting creative. And maybe now that we're stuck at home and not able to travel and not able to go out to some concert or do something, those of you, and yes, there are still many of you who are not really struggling financially, but just can't go on your trip wherever you were going to go, or buy that new thing you were going to buy, or go to that whatever event you were going to go to. Use that money and invest it in A, helping other people and giving back, and B, growing your own soul. Do some online therapy. I'm working remotely with all of my clients right now. Do online therapy, take online courses, do personal growth courses. Explore areas. Like I said, I'm taking painting classes online. Do something that you've never had time to do, and now you do. And explore innovation. I'm sure you've seen that in Italy, because of the respirator shortage, the doctors have figured out how to take 4 scuba masks and hook it all up to one ventilator so that they can help 4 patients with one ventilator rather than just one. That is like amazing innovation, and we know that necessity is the mother of invention. So I think this is going to be a time of huge innovation, not only around health and waking us up to the crises that we need innovation around, but just personal innovation. And when we have time and we have space and we let those creative juices flow, amazing things happen. So that's sort of in the more kind of generic sense. Now let's talk about your relationship, okay? Some of you are saying, yes, I'm really scared. And toward the end of this, I'm going to take you through a meditation that you can use. I have a lot of them on my website. If you go to drlauraberman.com and you click on the Quantum Love page, there are a ton of meditations there that you can play with. Another thing you can practice during this time, not only to ground and release fear, but also to create, to manifest what you really desire, But in terms of your relationship, boy, is this an amazing, amazing opportunity, okay? First of all, you get a lot more time with each other. Now, I know that in some cases, that's not a blessing, that's a curse, right? Because Lord knows, I talk to you every day on my radio show. There are so many relationships out there where, you kind of have had your head in the sand, right? Like you just kind of get through the day. You don't see each other more than a few hours at the end of the day. You haven't really even had to deal with each other. And now you are stuck at home together in often very small spaces, right? So I know that can be tricky. But this is once again an AFGE, another fucking growth experience within an AFGE, because it's putting pressure on us to move our hearts and minds and souls and our relationships. You know what I mean? So maybe you just start with one project that the two of you, not a to-do list project, but maybe it's learning croquet, maybe it's painting, maybe it's cooking, some little project that the two of you can take on that you would both find enjoyable, and spend an hour a week on that. You don't, if you don't get along that much or you feel like there's been a rift between you, just start there, right? Make sure that even if you have a one-room studio apartment, create little corners for yourself. When I was living in Chicago and I didn't have as much space as I do outside now in LA, I got one of those little girly, hanging canopy tents that hang from the ceiling, and I just hung it in the corner of the kids' playroom, and that was like my red tent, and nobody could come in it, and I would just go in there when I needed my space. So, that works, right? Someone's asking to see my house. There's my yard. I have my kids and my husband in the house, but I'll show you the house another time. I'll do this again. But this is my house on the outside. And can you hear the little fountain? I have a little fountain I put up there. See? And those are my lawn chairs that I put right out, which I would never put outside because I think they're ugly. They're kind of my beach chairs, but I love them. I've been sitting out on the grass in them and enjoying them. So when you're not getting along, right, and you're stuck at home together, that's trickier. But the cool part about now is that you don't have to get dressed for work, most of us. You don't have to leave the house. You can have a lot more sex. You can explore your sex life a lot more. You're going to be a lot less tired. Even if your kids are at home, they're getting, you're not entertaining them 24/7. This is a great time to put a lock on your door, parents, if you haven't done that already, for goodness sake. And look for opportunities to be naked, for instance. I think it's, now that we're home all day, maybe it's in your bedroom or your bathroom, or if the kids aren't around, in your living room, be naked. Together or alone as much as possible. Get to know your body. If you're not in a relationship, explore your body. I have a program on my website that I want everyone to do. It is free, okay? It's totally free. It's called 7 Days to Jumpstart Your Sex Life, and it's for all sexual orientations, whether you're single or in a relationship. And in the past, people were like, 7 days, can we do it once a week? Can we do 7 weeks? And I was like, yeah, you can go as slow as you want. Well, now you're home. Do the 7 days to better sex, right? Explore your body. Take baths if you have a bathtub. Run around the house naked. Try new positions. Try new toys. Go to the shop on my website at drlauraberman.com. There are toys, books, lubricants, all kinds of things that you can explore and play with as you have this time. I mean, we have accidentally, through a horrible tragedy, been given a gift. And it's the gift of stopping our lives. I've often said that 7 years ago, I think it was, or maybe more, it was in 2012, so more than 7 years ago, I had breast cancer. And leading up to, and I write about this in my book, Quantum Love, leading up to that, I was really, really busy, but really healthy and really active and took care of myself. And this friend of mine named Robert Ohado, he's a intuitive life strategist, like an astrologer and intuitive. And he kept saying to me, Laura, you got to land your plane. And I would look at him like, what the hell? You got to land your plane? What does that mean? Okay, I'll do some more yoga classes. I won't go out as much on weekends. Like, I didn't know what he meant. And then I got breast cancer. And I was like, I need to stop. I need to stop my life, and nothing else would have stopped me other than cancer, because I had to stop to survive. I had to stop everything. And that is when I came up with the term AFGE, another fucking growth experience. But that was when my life broke open to something, it was like going from 2 dimensions or 3 dimensions to 5 dimensions. I discovered things about myself. It's what led to my newest book, Quantum Love. Yeah, Jamie's Place is saying Quantum Love, that she loves that. Yeah, Jamie, Quantum Love grew out of me stopping my life and being like, oh my gosh, like I'm sitting here, nothing to do, overwhelmed with fear and anxiety and emotions. How am I going to move with it? I can't run away from it. I can't distract myself from it. And that's what's happening now universally for us. We can't use our old strategies to run away from our relationship issues or to run away from our anxiety or to distract ourselves with, work or hanging out with friends or whatever it is, right? This is a call on us, a big old whopper of an AFGE for us to get quiet. And since we can't go outside, to go inside. It is so important, and it is really, really going to change. I mean, obviously this is changing our world on so many levels, but it's really going to change each of us individually. And and it gives us a chance to really grow. So if you use the resources, if you have extra resources right now that you aren't spending because you're stuck at home, use that money not only to help other people but to help yourself. Invest in online courses, invest in counseling, invest in therapy. Get the help to work with this anxiety that you're feeling or fear about the future or whatever it is, because now you have the time and the space to do that. And if you do, then you'll come out the other end of this whole crisis in a totally different vibration. And lots of you are mentioning quantum love. That's what I talk about in quantum love, is that at our core, we are all pure energy. And we're vibrating at a frequency, a level of almost like a radio dial, an old-fashioned radio dial, a volume and a channel, right? And different frequencies are really created constantly in our bodies, and we're emitting that frequency, and it's affecting everything around us, not only the reality we're creating, but the people around us. And now that you are stuck at home, this is a great opportunity to practice. So in just a few minutes, I'm going to take you through the open heart meditation that moves you into home frequency. Because if you can stay in home frequency just 51% of the time during this crisis, I got these glasses. These are readers. Thank you. I think I got them at Amazon. But I'm glad you like. We're coming up with new ways to play, which is another amazing thing, right? You see all of these hilarious videos of people finding, using the outdoors in ways they never have before, using their homes in ways they never have before, being silly together. I'm getting to hang out with my teenage boys who I never get to hang out with because they never want to be around. They're stuck at home with me. They played croquet this morning, which I think is so awesome. I never cook. I made some delicious ginger lemon tea, and I found some old polished crystals that I froze that I'm using as ice. I'm playing, right? I'm playing. So if you have a question about how to grow your soul, how to grow your body, your sex life, your relationship, ask. This is a great opportunity for you to ask. E. Taylor says, I need love, Dr. Berman. Yeah, well, love, we all need love, right? And I can say I love you because I love every one of you, but I know that's not what you're talking about, because lots of people are really struggling being alone, especially during this time. And if you are someone who in the back of your mind, or you pushed away all the time, I would love to have a special someone, but, I'll find that person. But inside you were like, I'm going to die alone, or those fears were really real inside you, which for a lot of people, most people, I think, they are. This is when they're going to come to the forefront. As you sit and look at your four walls, and you don't have a significant other, and maybe you don't even have a family that you're with, and you feel like you are completely alone in the world right now. First of all, you're not, okay? And I'm not just saying because we're all one, but I'll tell you why in a second. But also, this is the thing. Whatever those things are that you have been avoiding, running from, ignoring, repressing, welcome to the party. They're all going to come out now. And those of us, like me, who have been through a poop load of AFGEs, one frickin' growth experience after another, have been doing so much healing that for us, this isn't that bad. Like, I'm actually really enjoying this. The only thing that bothers me is everybody else's pain, but I'm not in pain because I know how to work with it. I've been dealing with my stuff, right? But if you haven't been, which by the way is 95% at least of people, okay, so now you can't run from it anymore. So you can't go over it. You can't go under it. You can't go around it. Whatever those feelings are, you can't run away from them because you can't run away and distract yourself anymore. You got to go through it. And how do you go through it? You go through it by feeling all the feelings. And I have a great video where I actually read to you the key story. It's a very personal story that I wrote about in Quantum Love. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can find, it's the one on overcoming grief. because I wrote about the pain and fear I felt after my mother died, but it applies to all feelings that you don't want to be with: fear, sadness, anger. Use the same techniques in that video on YouTube. If you go to the Dr. Laura Berman YouTube channel and you look for overcoming grief, it will give you specific ideas of how to go into the feeling and allow yourself to pass through it. And an authentic feeling, although we run from it our whole lives because we think it's going to take us over, I swear to you, it won't take you over. It will release. It only takes about 3 minutes to just get it all out. And if you let yourself fall all the way into the feeling, which this video will show you how to do, then you literally come out the other side and you've learned something. And it's unbelievably powerful. So someone was just asking, let's see, Dasi Nasita is asking, how do you get your significant other to respect your personal space? This is a beautiful opportunity. So many people are asking me questions like this around learning boundaries. Hello, recovering codependent as well as recovering type A here. Boundaries have not been my thing as a pleaser and as someone who never knew how to write or erect boundaries. You got to learn, and here's how you do it. You say, you say how you're feeling. So what you would say is, I'm feeling kind of tense. My chest is tight. My shoulders are tight. I feel anxious. And I'm noticing that the reason I feel anxious is that I have a need. I have a need for just a little corner of space. And what I would really love is if you could give me just an hour a day or 3 hours a day or whatever it is that you really think the minimum is, where I can just be alone. I'm just going to put up a blanket and hang it from the ceiling. I'm going to be in the bathtub. I'm going to be in our bedroom. Wherever it is, just find yourself a corner and say, for this time every day, I don't want to be disturbed. I'm just going to have my earphones in. I'm going to be recalibrating and calming myself down. So you make it about you. You don't say, you freaking jerk, you're driving me nuts, you're up in my face, I need to get away from you. You don't say that. You talk about how you're feeling and what you would want, okay? And then do it. And when he respects that boundary or she respects that boundary, then you come out and you say, thank you so much, and you give them lots of affection and attention, and you make it rewarding, to follow your requests. You make it positive and you show appreciation. I think this is a really important time to pay a lot of attention to what we can be grateful for, not only in our lives, but in our relationships. And not forgetting that, because it can be so easy. What happens in our brains neurologically when we're scared or stressed is the prefrontal cortex of the brain, the part of the brain that sees opportunities and possibilities and the whole picture and the consequences of our words and actions. That part shuts off. When you're scared or really in your fear, that part just is shut down, and the amygdala back underneath inside, that's called the reptilian part of the brain for good reason. That's the part that does fight, flight, or freeze. That's what takes over, right? So if you're really stuck in fear, it's going to be hard to connect with anyone. It's going to be hard to focus on anything. It's going to be hard to create anything. It's going to be hard to connect with anything. And you're right, Cindy, following up on what I was saying about setting boundaries, the reward can be making love, right? Sex is a great carrot. I'm a big fan of positive psychology. And if you have kids at home, or even if you have a partner, because it works with adults too, I'm telling you, check out positive psychology, a great parenting site, which you could even apply to your relationship, is ahaparenting.com. In fact, if you go into my podcast, if you just go anywhere where you listen to podcasts and you find me, Too Risque for Radio is the name of my podcast, you can find the ones that I did with Dr. Laura Markham. I did at least one, but I think I might have done 2 podcasts with her about children and positive psychology, and also her site is ahaparenting.com with lots of resources. But in all relationships, not only with children but with partners as well, you want to focus on the carrot, not the stick. You want to take responsibility for your own feelings, so it's not, you're making me claustrophobic and you're getting me stressed. It's, I'm feeling this way. This is the story I'm telling myself, and this is what I would really love. This is what I need. It would mean so much to me. And then reward, right? So you're taking responsibility for yourself. You're using a carrot rather than a stick, and you're rewarding when the result happens. And the more that you can balance your own frequency, I swear to you, try it. This is a perfect opportunity to do some experiments. And thank you, those of you, many of you are saying you love the podcast. Thank you. I love the podcast too. It makes me so happy. And this week, I think it's on the podcast. It's on the Best Of show, so you can hear it if you go to Uncover. And I also posted it on social media, but we had our first ever proposal, which was really exciting, and she said yes. All right, so let's do a home frequency meditation. Are you ready? Someone's asking a question. All right, how do we handle children in the mix? Tell me what you mean by, you mean in terms of having that intimacy while still having kids? Structure. I did and I promise I'll get to the open-hearted meditation, but I want to make sure I answer your questions. Most kids, including mine, don't have a lot of structure right now, and they need it. And more importantly, we need it, okay? So you have a schedule every day where this, even if they're young and not in virtual school, this is math time, science, whatever, and this is recess, this is lunch, this is family playtime. Once again, give them the carrot. They get lots of mom and dad, so they're not feeling starved and chasing you around the house. And mommy and daddy private time. You are allowed. Just like they get playtime, you get playtime. And unless the house is burning down, now granted, if you have a toddler, you're not going to be able to, you're going to have to do this when they're napping. But if you have kids who can sit in front of a cartoon for a half hour, you have enough time to have some fun together. Okay? Now, the kind of fun I want you to have if you're with a co-parent is I want you to take turns. So one of you is with the kids while the other is naked somewhere in a bath, self-stimulating, reading, whatever it is. Okay? But I want you to just be in your body and be quiet and recharge your batteries for 30 minutes. Take turns, 30 minutes to an hour. Okay? Where each of you get that. Your alone time every day without the kids. And you get as a couple alone time every day without the kids, and you work that into the schedule, and you get an old monitor if you need to, even if your kids don't use monitors anymore. And make sure it's one way so they can't hear you, right? Or a walkie-talkie. And you say to them, Mommy and Daddy are going for our meeting now. And the door is going to be locked to our room or to the office or wherever we are. And, you are only to come to us if there is a problem where somebody's life is at risk. If there is a fire or someone is choking or there's an emergency, then you come. And when, you don't say if, and when you give Mommy and Daddy their quiet time for 30 minutes, and here's the clock when it says this, if you give us our quiet time, then we're going to make ice cream sundaes, or we're going to paint, or, something that they really would love, where they get all your carroty, yummy, juicy affection and reward, once again, for doing what you want. Right? And Redding Company is asking, good one, you're having lots of arguments now that you can't escape each other. I don't know if you're just joining, but this is what I was talking about earlier. This is sort of the benefit and the way that coronavirus is an AFGE, another freaking growth experience for your relationship, because whatever it is that you haven't wanted to be with is going to be right in your face right now. You are welcome, says coronavirus, because it is there to be addressed and cleared. The reason that you're having arguments is not that you're not having more arguments because you can't escape each other. You're having more arguments because you can't run away from the problems, right? So what you would do before is, instead of having the argument, you would be passive aggressive and just kind of shove it under the rug and go off and forget about it, and then know that the problem didn't really get resolved and didn't go away, right? It just was ignored, and we could manage it that way because we didn't really have to deal with our feelings or the truth of the problem, so we could just pretend it's not really happening, right? Well, welcome to the party. Now you got to deal with it. And so I think what I'm going to do is make a longer video about how to resolve conflict I talk a lot about it on my show on Uncovered Radio and on my podcast, Too Risque for Radio, which you can find anywhere. But I'm going to do a specific one this week on how to fight to love and not just to win. That's the key. How do you fight? How do you have an argument where you can both be heard, where you're respecting each other, where you have your boundaries of how you want to be treated? Okay, so thank you, Redding. I'm making myself a note. How to fight. I do have some blogs on my website. If you go and look at all my blogs on drlauraberman.com, I know I have written about how to fight to love, but I'm going to do a video about it for you. So thank you for giving me that idea, because that's a big one that people need right now. Okay, let's see. Do we have any other questions that I need to get to before? Yes, I have a cold. That's why I'm sniffing. I don't have corona. I don't have a fever. I'm actually like almost better, except for the runny nose. I had a really bad cold. No fever, no sore throat, no shortness of breath. Thank goodness. But I was pretty sick. So, and it's not COVID, but I'm also totally quarantined, so don't worry. I haven't been out of the house in 2 weeks. So it's just a cold. Thank goodness, right? But, this is a time that we all need to socially distance, especially if you're sick, but even if you're not, because many of us are contagious before we know we're sick. So this is part of the reason it's so important to socially distance. But social distance does not mean social isolation. We are more connected than ever before. We have an opportunity with technology to connect in so many ways. It's not corona. And even if it is corona, I'm going to be fine. I'm not going to infect any of you. I'm far away. I'm staying home, but it's not corona. I'm all better. Believe me, I was sick 3 days ago. This is just the remnants of it. Another one saying we're getting on each other's nerves. That is natural. So you have to treat it the same way as you do with your family, with your kids. Create some structure, right? So my husband and I are stuck at home. We have structure with the kids, obviously, but we also kind of, we haven't needed, because we respect each other this way, we kind of know how to move around each other. But a lot of couples need to have a more specific schedule, that this is the time where we go our separate ways, or this is it. Our kids are older and can kind of entertain themselves, so one of us doesn't have to be with them. In fact, they'd rather we not be with them all the time. But if your kids need one of you watching, then you take turns having your solo time. But you must make sure that each of you have your solo time every day, where you're off doing something by yourself in some corner of the house, listening to something, watching something, writing something. I'm working on a new book. Who knew I had a new book in me, but I'm working on it, and I'll probably have the proposal done, but at least by the end of this. So start working on something you've been thinking about or contemplating for a while. Not being able to see loved ones. Lots of you are saying you can't see your sibling, you can't see your friends, you can't see your family. That is what technology is for. And I know it's not the same thing. So many of us, I'm hearing this from so many of my single friends who are really having to socially isolate alone, that they just want to hug. They want to hug so badly, and I can feel that. I can imagine, because I'm such a huggy person, I can imagine how painful that is. But what can you do with that pain, right? Rather than try not to feel it, can you go all the way into the sadness and fear and loneliness? Because I swear to you, and you write me and email me and let me know what you discover, I promise you, I have been doing this for over 25 years, my whole life for myself, but over 25 years with you. And I swear to you, there are gifts in this for you that are going to make your life so much better coming out of this if you honor and work with them. So check out that YouTube video on my YouTube channel of Dr. Laura Berman on dealing with grief when it comes to the grief and sadness you feel around the loneliness of not being able to be physically in the presence of your loved ones. I know we can be, thank God this isn't happening before the internet, right? Like, at least we can be in touch with each other virtually, and FaceTime and Zoom and all these other ways, but I know it's not the same as being able to physically connect. Even for me, while I had this, the cold was really bad, I was isolating from my family, so I wasn't kissing or hugging anybody. And those 3 days, really, really tough. I can only imagine how tough it is for those of you who are not able to be with someone who you can hug and kiss, because we all need that physical affection. And you can hear that siren. But here, let's do this now. I want to do, and I have a more formal version of this on my website. If you go to drlauraberman.com and go to the Quantum Love page, you'll find it. Go look at all the meditations and find the open-hearted meditation. I'm going to take, it sounds like I have a chicken in the background. That's this little fountain. You see? That's what's making a little clucky sound. A chicken. I would love to get a chicken. My husband won't let me. Okay, so let's do the open-hearted meditation, okay? Because that is moving you into home frequency. Home frequency is where health is. If you have your body at a certain vibration, you aren't going to get sick. You aren't going to be scared. The world will appear different. Your lens is different. I am telling you, it is astounding. That is literally what Quantum Love is about. It's about you, and that's my latest book. And this would be a great time to read it or listen to it. That really, when we start to harness our body's energy and move ourselves and keep ourselves as much as possible, 51% of the time in home frequency, then it is amazing how people respond and how they fall in line. I mean, it's really how I control my family. It's through Quantum Love. I don't have to say anything. I just move myself into home frequency with a very clear intention of what I want to happen, and they just fall in line, which is fantastic. Okay, so here's what we do. We're all energetic beings. We are... we're just vibrating atoms going at all different frequencies, right? And each of us is vibrating at a different frequency, but in the home and in the family, we're all in training and matching each other. So because, oh, thank you. Tina's saying she loves Quantum Love. Yes, read it, listen to it. I even have a course. If you go to my, it's on my website on drlauraberman.com or on Hay House. I have a Quantum Love course you can do also. But what we want to do first is ground our energy. Okay, so you can all do this with me. We're going to do a quick meditation. Take some deep breaths, close your eyes, and as you breathe in, the first thing is to ground yourself. So we're going to imagine a beautiful light as you breathe in, coming in through the top of the head, flowing through your entire body as you breathe in, filling every cell, and as you breathe out, shooting out through your tailbone, creating deep, deep roots, grounding you. Like I like to almost imagine them as like the roots of a tree, almost all going deep to the center of the earth and like wrapping around the center of the earth, okay? So we're going to take some deep breaths like that. Breathing in a beautiful light through the top of our head. As you continue to breathe in, let it fill your whole body, and as you breathe out, let it shoot out your tailbone deep, deep, deep into the earth. Let's do that again. Breathe in. The light flows in. We're suspending our breath. And then breathe out. Okay, and it's good to close your eyes as you do this. I'm going to open mine so I can make sure that that there aren't any questions about this, but you keep yours closed. Breathe in the beautiful light. Suspend the breath. And then out, out, out through your bottom. And what you'll find, this is a great way in and of itself. Stay in this beautiful place of grounding, but this is a beautiful way to just center your body and get back into your body, especially when you're in fear. And from this very grounded place, I want you to think of a time, real or imagined, doesn't matter, when everything was right in the world. You were filled with love and joy and excitement. It could be when you kissed someone you love for the first time, or when you held your baby in your arms the first moment, or when you made it to the top of that mountain, or finished that amazing, exciting project, whatever that was, whatever comes to mind, I want you to think of that. Just take a moment. Don't second guess yourself, because you can practice this in lots of different ways. This is just to give you a taste. And now that you have that time, I want you to put yourself in that scene as if it's happening right here, right now. Okay? So you're not watching yourself hold that baby. You are looking down at the baby in your arms. So you are in that scene in first person as if it's happening right here, right now. And imagine in your mind's eye all the details, how it would smell, how it would sound. The more you can get into it as if it's really happening right here, right now, the better for your body's frequency, because what is happening is that your brain and your body literally have no idea of the difference between reality and imagination, or reality and rehearsal. So if you are there in first person right now, your body is literally there. Your frequency-wise, you are literally there. It is happening right here, right now. So be there for a moment. And notice what it feels like to be in that beautiful place in your body. I always feel a kind of spreading. And you don't need to socially distance. You can be cuddling someone in this visualization. You can be kissing someone. You can be with a whole crowd of people sitting very close to you, right? You don't have to social distance in this visualization. But when I do this, I feel a beautiful spreading in my chest, like a bubbling and a spreading. That's my kind of cue that I know I'm moving into home frequency. But you notice what you feel in your body. That's going to become a cue for how you know that your body is in home frequency. Because what will happen as you continue to be here and as you continue to practice this is that you can move your body into home frequency without having to think of an incident to put yourself there. But for right now, I'm showing you what it feels like. Can you feel it? I see the little hearts and thumbs up, but can you feel what it feels like inside your body? And when you're ready, just gently blink open your eyes, right? So if you wanted to create something with your kids, with your partner, in life, for the universe, for the world right now, this is how you do it. If you make this part of your daily meditation practice, I mean, literally, what I did in the beginning, and I talk all about this in Quantum Love, and some of you were asking while I was taking you through this, yes, it is on an audiobook, so if you go to Audible, you can listen to it, and I read the whole thing myself, so it's my voice. There are all sorts of techniques in there for how to move yourself into home frequency, but what I found with practice is that now if I'm about to get on with you guys, or I'm about to walk into the kitchen with my kids and I want them to do their homework or whatever it is, if I move myself, which I don't even have to think about now because now my body's used to it, I can move myself into home frequency, get really, really clear about what it is that I want to happen, and then the whole world responds to me differently. And if you are like me and really understand that we are creating our own reality, this is the secret behind the secret, or the law of attraction, because you can write yourself a check for $1 million, but if you're not moving your body into the frequency of she or he who already has the $1 million in their hands, it doesn't translate into your reality. So, oh, sweet, thank you. Somebody really wants to see my house. All right, I'll see if I can show you the kitchen when we're done. But it's probably really messy. But I have given up on perfection, so I don't care. Jamie's place says it's like a personal session. Oh, that's sweet if you get the audiobook. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, this is a very personal book for me. So yeah, here, I'll walk you to the kitchen since you want to see it. I'll see if it's messy. Grow your own soul. Grow your relationship, have some fun, create some new projects, new things you want to try. And it's a cloudy day today, but oh my gosh, you can see the Wall of China from space now. Like, when else in the world would all of the production and factories and cruise ships and traffic and smog stop? What would have ever made it stop? The breath that the Earth is taking right now has probably set global warming back already decades. I mean, not that we shouldn't be careful with the planet, but already decades. All right, how bad is my kitchen? Oh, it's so bad. All right, I'm going to show you my really messy kitchen. Okay, you ready? Tina's saying don't show the house. I'm just going to show you the kitchen, not the whole house. You see how dirty it is? Oh! And then there's outside. And there's my pretty orchids. All right, so there you go. I showed you my messy kitchen, so you know if I don't have to be perfect, you don't have to be perfect. Anyway, thank you for joining me and playing with me and being open to this. And I'm going to do some more of these. In fact, next Saturday, I'm going to do Sexercise with my good friend Anella, who's a yoga teacher. She may be on, actually. A yoga teacher. And what else? She's a yoga teacher, and she is a nutritionist, and she made a whole course with me on Sexercise. So we're going to be doing a live Sexercise class next weekend. I'll let you know about it, but you can join us, and I'll be telling you how that works. That's another great thing to do while you are stuck at home. So explore these meditations online at drlauraberman.com. Try the 7 Days to Better Sex program. It's free. I'm going to keep posting free content, not only mine, but sharing with you all of my friends and teachers who are putting up their free content right now. There's so much great stuff happening, and the tribe is waiting. So if you have something to share around how to lift the world up, a creative skill you have, a wisdom you have to share, this is the time. You know, the tribe is there waiting for you. The world is ready to wake up. So share it. Share yourself. Be open, be authentic, and don't try to be perfect. Just enjoy the pause and see what you can make of it, and open your heart to the lessons this AFG has to teach you, okay? Let me know how it goes. Mwah. See you next time.